ladies and gentlemen. My name is AHorn, and I would like to begin with a question for the audience. Just by show of hands, how many of you read the news on a regular basis? Current events, sports, just about everyone. Now, how many of you get that information from a printed paper or magazine? So we've got a few, we've got a handful, but not nearly as many who actually read the news on a regular basis. And this reflects a trend in the media industry. As you can see, newspaper circulation is plummeting. Interpret the data. Sorry. Is print media still relevant? How can it survive in our increasingly digital society? I interned at the Orange County Review, our local newspaper, managing editor, and Miss Ashley Spinks, editorial assistant. My research question, the response I received was, well, let us know what you find out. I actually found out quite a bit from my internship. I've been taking part in every step of the journalism process. I learned how the newspaper is constructed. I even had the opportunity to write an article for the paper about the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School System. I also learned that, yes, print media is still relevant, and I learned why. See themselves in the paper. They like to cut out their picture and cut out the articles that have their names in them. That article I wrote about Governor School is hanging in Mrs. Carlton's classroom for Governor School students to see. The older demographic likes to read the same type of media that they grew up with. They're sentimental about it. But more than that, they have a financial. Swinging by and picking up your local paper is fairly inexpensive. Yes. So if their revenue doesn't come from this print product, a half-page full-color spread in the paper, some space for local business, and a sidebar on the website as well. This advertising takes up 95% of the newspaper's income. Therefore, losing the print product, losing that advertising space, most of your revenue. To put it simply, a small news source to run a paper. That said, it continues to grow at an incredible rate. Because everyone knows, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? Message to the physical press. When you have a newspaper in your hands, you know that that information has gone through an editing process before it's reached you to make sure that it's accurate. Anyone can post anything they want and claim to be a journalist just because they manage a website or post a blog. Political propaganda during the election season. Fake news has received a lot of attention recently, but it's by no means a new thing. More and more people continue to turn to the internet for their information. Therefore, I've concluded that in order for the traditional press to survive society, they must adapt through integration. By the product, with an online presence, they're able to maintain their perceived integrity and their profits to the digital audience. This online presence includes a website, teasers or full-length articles featured in the paper. It can provide community-generated content such as poetry, as well as soft news articles. These are articles that don't have a lot of news value. They don't have a place in the physical paper. Lifestyle articles, like the 10 best ways to fix your hair in the morning. All of these articles draw more attention to the website, which makes the advertising space on the website more valuable to local businesses. A higher price can be demanded for that space. It also is more traffic to be directed to the physical paper, selling more copies. It's the value of that advertising space. Community service and internship. I took a step back to tackle a more global aspect of this issue. Whether it be a printed news article or an online blog post, the majority of information is presented in one way, written language. This is a fact that not many of us think about. 14% of the adult population of the United States, 21% grade level. I partnered with Mrs. Christy Lee, Orange Elementary School, in order to tackle this issue as early as possible. Under her guidance, I started the Reading Buddies program. I go with a group of high school volunteers to Orange Elementary School and mentor students ages kindergarten through struggle with their language arts skills. These students receive one-on-one tutoring that their teachers just aren't able to provide. Don't get to be part of the gifted program at their school. To have a teacher pat them on the back and tell them they're doing a great job. By a reading specialist, they feel singled out. When their teachers tell them that their older buddy is here to give them a hand, their eyes light up and they can't keep a smile off their face. These students are far more open and receptive to learning from their older buddies, have a great time with it, and they have a great time learning. Their reading skills are improving. And our volunteers love it just as much. This picture's a little... But these are the volunteers after their first day at the elementary school. Our grinning. Thanks to Mrs. Carlton, Reading Buddies will be able to continue long after I graduate. Our African American Studies class curriculum, in that if a student decides not to participate, they'll be penalized or receive a failing grade. And students who aren't in the class are more than welcome to join us. Watching while everyone around you is having a great time going and mentoring their buddies, as well as having an easy leadership opportunity to put on your college applications of incentives. And we've had many volunteers, and we hope to have. For our rising freshmen, Governor's School students who will be seniors sooner than you think, passionate about your project. And this is good. It helps you work through some of your anxiety. It's still there. And when you look at your project, when you look at anything in life, there is no way that I would ever be able to do that. You're not giving yourselves enough credit. More often than not, you'll encounter things in your life that will be extremely difficult. I was terrified of the idea of calling a complete stranger, of interviewing somebody that I barely knew to get information from my research paper. But I pulled through okay. I'm sure everyone else in our senior class felt the same way, and they've all pulled through okay. Speak for our entire class when I tell you that we are far more confident in our abilities now. So as you move towards your futures, give yourselves a little more credit. As for my own future, I am currently deciding between a major in information technologies at George Mason University, computer science at University of Virginia. In either case, I plan to minor in English because one day I'll be writing for a newspaper. Yes, the review currently has an email newsletter to bring in more subscribers, as well as creating a Twitter correspondent role, which I currently fill under the guidance of Ms. Ashley Space. Social media is a very powerful tool to use. Where else do you have millions of users scrolling down a page because they have nothing better to do? Thank you.